Hello and welcome to TechSlice. Today we're going to be doing a long-term review on the 2016 MacBook Pro. So, roll the intro. Now I've owned my 2016 MacBook Pro i5 2 Thunderbolt 2, so non-touch bar model, for just about a year now. And that's with almost daily use, so I use this every day, well every school day, take it to school and use it accordingly for school use and a bit of YouTube use when I'm on the go and all that. So we're going to be talking about a few key main areas that reviewers that have had the laptop for a few weeks or maybe a few months, they won't quite get the full understanding until you've used one for extended periods of time, which I'm going to be talking about today. Obviously with the laptop, one of the key things is battery life. And Apple claims the MacBook Pro 2016 can get 10 hours of video playback. And video playback doesn't equate into regular use really at all. And if you were watching the news when these MacBooks first came out, you saw the whole debate with the estimated time remaining in the status bar and them getting rid of that. The battery life on these, they're pretty good. They do vary a whole lot. So if you open up an Adobe Suite app, say you open up Photoshop or Premiere, your battery life is going to go down a lot quicker. And that's the same with most laptops. Though on average, I can get about at least a day of school use out of it, if not two. So at the end of the day, I can kind of have 40% remaining, stuff like that. And that's using a fair few Safari tabs, Microsoft Word open, and occasionally a few other things here and there. And that battery life has held up about through the course of the laptop. I say it may have dropped off ever so slight amount, but I haven't noticed it, especially because the battery has been replaced, which I'll talk about soon when I get into a few other things. But overall, the battery's been good, and obviously it's an Apple product, it's a MacBook, it's going to have pretty good battery life. So if you're keeping up with anything related to these 2016, 2017 MacBook Pros, you would know about the keyboard and more importantly the switches themselves. With these 2016 onwards MacBook Pros, they've changed over to a newer style of switch called butterfly keys. And they're meant to be low profile so they can keep the laptops quite thin but still have a nice clicky feel to them, and even though they don't have much key travel at all. Now this is good on the surface, though they've had a huge issue with dirt and debris. If a small bit of dirt gets into your keyboard, then your keys are likely to jam up, and sometimes if you just spam that key over and over again, sure, the dirt might or debris might become unlodged and leave that key, or sometimes in some people's cases can stay in there, or it can damage the key completely. Now I started experiencing this happening shortly after I got the laptop, because the laptop was used at the time I got it. It was about 10 months old at the time, however it hardly had any use on it. So before the warranty period ran out, I got that replaced, which included the battery, the casing and the keyboard. And now luckily, yeah, like I said, it was done on warranty, which would normally be a $700 fix, which I got that done in February of this year. And now being October, I'm starting to get the same problems again. Only minor, and if you do have a MacBook Pro with similar issues, Apple does have a replacement program that you should be able to get it replaced for free or something to that effect. If you have any problems, I'll link the Apple link down below and you can have a look at their article and see what it all says. But yeah, that's a huge pain, and seeing you spending so much on these laptops to then have keyboard issues, especially when you're using the laptop for a lot of typing. Though if you're that fed up with it or you're looking to buy these, I'd recommend the 2018 models or newer, seeing we're going to get new MacBook Pro soon. They have a new style of an updated keyboard that stops the dirt and debris getting in. So yeah, if you're checking out these, just have a look at that and weigh up your options. Another thing with using the laptop day in, day out is its durability. You don't exactly want your main laptop to go down and not have a laptop for a while and all stuff like that. And again, because it's an Apple product, you can trust that it's pretty good. I mentioned just before about the keyboard, which is the main bit, durability. Otherwise, apart from that, these laptops are rock solid. Obviously featuring a metal build, and I currently got a black camo dbrand skin on it. So if you guys like that, you know where to head, dbrand.com. So because it's got a metal unibody design, it's a strong laptop. Obviously, if you are going to drop it, metal does dent. It's not as forgiving as plastic, though plastic does crack. I have dropped it. It has dropped off a table or desk that I was sitting at, and it has got a dent in there, which has unfortunately impacted the screen, where I've got now a bit of light bleed in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, which is nothing too major. You can just notice it on black when something's showing up black, or you bring up the laptop or something like that. But seeing it did drop, it did land on its screen, or did land on its corner, that's pretty good, and that you can't expect that from many other laptops. So durability is definitely a plus, except for obviously the keyboard I was talking about. Another thing to talk about over my extended use of this laptop is its USB-C ports, or just ports in general. Especially on the non-touch bar models, you only get 2 USB-C ports and then a headphone jack. Which, at the time back in 2016, when this was the first laptop, pretty much first device released with USB-C, this was a major pain to people. It still is a pain. There is becoming greater support getting USB flash drives that are coming with USB-C. Apple has displays made by LG that have USB-C on it. Some other LG displays and other brand monitors have USB-C, which are helping all this greatly. But still, in 2018, I do have to have an adapter so I can plug in things like HDMI, SD cards, regular USB flash drives, stuff like that. So it hasn't annoyed me that much, because due to the use of stuff like iCloud Drive, a lot of online services, flash drives you don't really use a whole lot anymore. It's mainly for stuff like HDMI. If I want to plug into a monitor or something like that, you just have to have an adapter, which once you have, and if you carry it around in your normal backpack or that, it's not too bad, though still slightly annoying. One of the last things I do want to talk about is power. Because another thing with this being the non-touch bar model is it's got a Core i5 with a base clock of 2 GHz and can turbo up to 3.1 GHz. Now this is a lot lower than the Touch Bar MacBook Pro, because the Touch Bar MacBook Pro has fan inlets on either side around this area, and also a second fan for extra cooling and allowing that CPU to turbo higher. So this is less powerful. Obviously there's a big price difference. So this MacBook, brand new, it was $2,200 instead of MacBook Pro with touch bars, $2,700 Australian dollars. So in day-to-day use, you're not going to notice that when you're just doing stuff like Safari, messages, emails, things like that. The only thing where I have noticed it greatly is when you start opening Adobe apps like Premiere and you start trying to export videos. Number one, this laptop does get hotter and it's not turboing up as high, so your renders are going to be slower. Anything that uses the CPU intensely, it's going to be slower to a degree, but more importantly, it hasn't quite got the cooling capabilities. Which, I mean, if you want to go as far, you can look at people like Quinn from Snazzy Labs, who put liquid metal on his CPU to get it cooler, which allowed it, I think, to turbo up higher, but more importantly, just keep those temperatures lower and those fans lower. So yeah, just search up his channel and I'm sure you can find that. But overall, in the almost year I've had it, about 10 months, this laptop has been very solid, very good daily driver. I'd almost recommend it to everyone except for the keyboard issue. If you can pick up a 2018 model, maybe if you can't afford one, try and get a 2018 model used for a discounted price, that'd be great, because so many of these have keyboard issues and it's just a recurring problem. Anyway, that's my long-term review on this laptop. If you liked it, please like it and hit that subscribe button. It always helps the channel out greatly. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day.